another blitz. Hurts takes it right up the gut. Touchdown Eagles. Here's the deep ball. Got hit as he let it go. Oh, Devontae Smith. What a catch. From 54 for the win. On the way. It is there. And the Eagles remain unbeaten.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Flyin podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Mitchell, back with my co-host, Steven Maslij.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
We missed you guys. We hope you missed us just as much. Had a nice holiday season, took a nice little break, got a nice bye weekend. Sorry we missed you guys last week. We got a little wrapped up in the holiday season ourselves. So we're happy to be finally getting back to you guys with another podcast, wrapping up the Chiefs and the Bills, and what we're going to be seeing next week against the 49ers. So,
Sure.
We're not going to talk too long about the Chiefs because it's a little bit behind in the past. But obviously, just want to clarify that was a big win. We saw our fair share of struggles in that game. It was a little bit iffy up and down the field, but the Eagles, throughout the season have continued to prove to do their thing and just do what it takes to get wins, no matter how ugly it is. And they really just did their thing and, beat the best quarterback in football. They might have got a little lucky with a drop pass in the end. But, one of the big things that I wanted to point out today about the Eagles that, I know everybody's talking about the 10-1 Eagles being, fraudulent and, getting lucky and getting bailed out by the refs. Bullcrap. I'm not here to have it. I'm not here to hear it. I think it's bullcrap. I think the Eagles shoot themselves in the foot for a whole half every game and then still come around and beat their ass in the second half, no matter who the team is. And not only are the Eagles playing mistake-ridden football and still beating good teams, but they're forcing the other teams to play perfect football. Those minuscule plays like the drop pass by Valdez-Scantling, the goal line stop against Dak Prescott, the, taking it to overtime with the Bills, and them letting us get that last-second field goal and then missing that touchdown in the end. Like, the Eagles are making other teams play virtually perfect football, despite the fact that we're playing fairly sloppy compared to what we could be.
Yeah, I mean, it's I want to say perfect football, to be honest. I mean, there's just, like, Patty didn't play that well. They turned the ball over twice in the Chiefs game. On the Bills game, they didn't choke it at the end, but they had opportunities to. I mean, yeah, you're right. All right, you make a good point. It's like, but it's hard to say perfect football when we just play so down at a level that it's like it comes down to like the 59-yard field goal at the end of the game. That's what you want. Like, if in the rain and the wind, I don't even know how that went in. I was at the game. Amazing, by the way. It's not luck because we get it done. And if it keeps happening over and over, it's not a coincidence anymore. You know what I mean? But it's like hard to say perfect football, but it's they have to win. Like, if you're not, I don't know. I guess in a way you're right. I guess I have to agree with you.
I mean, to an extent, I get what you're saying. I guess they're not playing perfect football either, and I guess a lot of teams aren't. Like, you can go look at Tom Brady's quote about the league looking a little mediocre, and I know a lot of analysts and players have had a lot to say about that and disagree with it, but to an extent I think he has a point that this year has been a little strange in the NFL, where outside of the Eagles there's not really a team that's standing out and looking absolutely stellar and unbeatable. And even the Eagles at 10-1, although teams aren't beating them, they do look like they have a lot of holes. And, they're showing – I don't want to say they're showing anything. They're just being vulnerable by not playing a full 4 quarters of football. And it's strange that they do that. And we'll dive a little deeper into what the big problems are and, where the issue is coming from. So, let's jump right into the Bills game then. So, what were your, thoughts in the game? Like you said, you were there, you were in the action. It was probably pretty awesome, quite an atmosphere to be a part of, being down there at the stadium for an overtime win. I can imagine it was pretty lit.
probably the best Eagles game I ever went to in my life. The first half was abysmal. Our offense was crap. We didn't run the. I don't know how we don't run the ball when it's raining. To start off the game, especially in the first half of Swift. We only gave him the ball the first time. He gets like 30 yards. There's lots of people are complaining about play calling and such. Even toward the end, I got very frustrated with the play calling of the draws toward the end of the game. But it was just in the second half, there was just this like weird vibe when the Bills missed that field goal. It just like we weren't getting it, like we weren't out of it, and it was a very like we're still in this, but why are we in this type vibe? I can't describe it, but like it's like you're going into the half 17-7, and it's like you guys didn't move the ball at all. You guys had like 65 like total yards, or around. I maybe we're just passing, but like it just felt like it was just like why aren't we doing better? We didn't play that great on defense, obviously in the second quarter. Nothing was really going our way in the first half at all offensively. And it's not like I just felt like the Bills weren't dominating on defense though. It was a very eerie type vibe. Obviously we had turnover, but it was a very weird vibe. But in the end, after that field goal and then going into overtime, we knew if we stopped them, we weren't going to lose that game. And everyone knew it there. And Josh Allen probably knew it too, even when they kicked the field goal. So, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, pulling off a win like that in that atmosphere when it's just like you're just soaked, sitting there cold, but you're not cold because you're just like so into the game. I was so happy. I mean, obviously after the game when the adrenaline went down, I was freezing and shaking, but it just – that was an electric game, and I don't know how we won that game, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy that the Eagles snuck by against, a good team that I know is struggling this year. I know they're 6-6, but everyone knows the Bills are a pretty good team around the NFL, and we managed to slip past them playing only a half of football. I mean, in the first half, we put up 36 total yards of offense. You might as well have not gotten on the field at all. It was pretty atrocious. I actually was on a long car ride home and had to listen to the game on the radio for the first three quarters. And even listening to the great Merle Reese, just, absolutely disgusted with the team it was hard to listen to. It was,
Yeah.
I have a big problem with the play calling. I know you mentioned that. That was first and foremost my biggest problem. I know that Brian Johnson's getting a lot of credit for our offense putting up a lot of points and, getting done what needs to get done. And making that turnaround in the second half, which he did do a good job with, and he does make decent adjustments. I got to give that to him. But holy crap, it's not rocket science. Use your running back. The lack of understanding how to set up plays by Brian Johnson has been, baffling all season long. It's been driving me absolutely crazy. And to watch the first half, or listen to the first half of them just constantly throwing the ball, throwing screens, trying to and not getting the offense into any sort of rhythm whatsoever was really freaking hard to listen to. And, the first time I heard them, I could be wrong on this, and I probably am wrong on this, but the first time I recall hearing them run the ball was in the 2-minute drill, the only time you're not supposed to run the ball. And I was like, what are we doing? And that's when we fumbled with Kenneth Gainwell. And I was just like, what the hell are we doing? Like, you waited this long to use the running back? Like,
dude, there was boos at halftime. I
heard you could hear it on the radio, dude.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I booed too. Like I was so frustrated. Everyone in our section just like run the ball, and we started a little chant because we're like trying to it was ridiculous. It didn't make any sense.
No sense.
The screens
makes no sense.
I can never get over the screens. Why are we ever running screens to Julio?
I would be absolutely beyond happy if that play was just erased from the playbook and never used ever again. It's not necessary. I know it works sometimes against bad teams. Like, cool, great, fantastic. If you put together a play that works against the good teams, then guess what? It'll work against the bad teams too. So, screw these crappy dink and dunk wide receiver screens that we don't even throw well. We don't run them well.
We don't set up anything from them. The whole part of the screen is to get the corner to drop and the safety to drop to the guy so that you have someone go downfield. We haven't done that this year. We've done it in the past.
There's no such thing as a setup play in Brian Johnson's playbook, and it drives me absolutely insane.
It's actually absurd. And then even when you would think it's a setup play, he goes to the complete opposite. It's like and then as soon as we start establishing a pass game, he's like, all right, let's just run it. And we're like, okay, I mean, where are you going? Like, what are you doing?
His play calling, first of all, his third down play calling specifically is probably the worst in the league. In the past 3 weeks, I just constantly am seeing on the screen 0 for 4, 0 for 9 in third downs, 0 for 6. And it's like, dude, like, stop trying to run cute quarterback draws on third down. Stop trying to throw wide receiver screens. Throw the ball past the freaking chains and use the run game in the first 2 plays to set up a good third down play. It's not that hard to figure out. Not to mention we have the best O-line in the league, and we have a running back who's top 4 in yards this year, despite how little we use him.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
It's crazy how little we are using the run game, and the difference it made when we did use it in the second half. The second we start running the ball in the second half, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, there's people open downfield. Want to know why? Because the linebackers have to move up, assuming that it could be a run now. All of a sudden, you added a different aspect to the game, and you're having the defense on their toes, not knowing what's coming. When you're just telling them that every play is going to be a pass, of course they're going to be able to start defending it. It's baffling to me how I'm getting too flustered right now.
I know we're only sacked twice, and then the fact that you have Driscoll in for Lane, it doesn't help that we're trying. I mean, I know why he's doing the draws, but it doesn't help. You can't just drop back in the pocket and just know that Driscoll going to protect the right side like Lane does. And I know we only got sacked twice in that game. I felt like it could have been more, but these. I mean, the one that describes it the most is time possession. Look at our time possession in this game. It's 40 minutes for the Bills and 26 minutes for us. We almost had a half their time possession. And there's if you look at the stat lines, if you gave me the stat sheet, you just handed it to me and said, did they win this game? I said, no, we lose by 21. We literally did not have, we ended up having more rushing yards than them thanks to Hurts. But
not even thanks to Hurts. Hurts didn't have that many yards. You want to know why? Because we started using DeAndre Swift, and he had 12 carries in the second half for 80 yards. That's what happened.
Yeah. I mean, Hurts still had 55. He did all right. But yeah, it was ridiculous. I don't know why we're not running with Swift. I don't know what they have a vendetta against him. I don't know. They're not even giving it to Gainwell, until they did and they fumbled. But
stop using Gainwell. We've talked about this. Stop using Gainwell. DeAndre Swift is one of the best backs in the league, and just use him. Simply. I promise that's no disrespect to Kenny Gainwell, and I don't mind if you use him every once in a while. I guess, but dude, I mean, DeAndre Swift is the real deal. Just use the guy. I mean, I personally don't think it's that hard to figure out.
But all I do have to say, Zacchaeus' catch in the end zone I think it was to take the lead was amazing. That was crazy
unbelievable play.
Unbelievable play.
Incredible throw.
I mean, just give the guy. I mean, that's what happens when you give guys shots downfield. We make plays, but I mean, I still can't believe he caught that. By the way, and it's just it makes me mad because obviously we have Goddard's out, so we can't. That whole game is just hurting us a lot in the middle of the field. And then obviously the last 2 games, you see AJ production gone way down, but they have a safety following because they know that's what we're going to go to. So
one thing nobody's talking about with the AJ production going down is because it's easy to notice that, but it's not. Nobody's talking about the fact that Devontae Smith has had 100 yards in the past 2 games.
We've been great.
Yeah, it's what's going to happen when you have 2 great receivers. You can't always get the ball to both of them all the time. For AJ Brown to have a 100-yard game or 125-yard game for 6 straight games, Devontae wasn't really doing a whole lot those games. He was getting 30 yards, 40 yards, maybe a touchdown in there. But, that's what's going to happen when you have 2 number 1 receivers on the team. Sometimes, one of them's going to take over, one of them might not. And like you said, if they're going to start throwing a safety over top of A.J. Brown, then you're going to leave Devontae running free somewhere.
Just one point I just wanted to make about the Bills' offense. Diggs, for some reason, was not in on like some of their third down plays and some of their like near that red zone type plays, and I was like, why? I didn't know why they did that. I don't know if it was to mix up our coverages because I saw that Bradbury and Slay would either side were following him, which I did like
Were
during
they?
the game.
At the end of the game, I actually specifically noticed that they weren't switching sides because me and my dad were watching the game and he was complaining that Bradbury was on Diggs. And it
Yeah,
was
no, they
because,
stayed on this, but they still switched on to Diggs.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I know what you're saying. I got you. I got you now.
Either way, for some reason, he wasn't like in the game for some of these big plays. I don't know what they were trying to do. I don't know why they love Gabe Davis so much. I didn't get that. I mean, Gabe Davis. People want to say like he should have caught that ball, and
I don't understand why everybody's acting like it was his fault. It's a choice route by him. I mean,
yeah.
and he's the one that gets to decide which route is run, whether he runs a post or a corner there. And I understand that Josh Allen had to get the ball out and already threw it, but like I don't see how that's Gabe Davis' fault for not knowing that while he's running downfield.
I didn't. I heard the call on it, and they were like for the win basically, and I was like, when I was there watching it, it was in my end zone. I wasn't like thought it was short. I knew it was short. I didn't see it like any other way, but whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy.
What you mean, the thrown ball?
Yeah.
No, the thrown ball made it to the end zone.
But I don't know why in real time I didn't think he was going to catch it. I don't know.
It didn't. He wasn't close to catching it.
That's what I mean. But yeah, the call. I forget who was calling the game, but it sounded like he was like this game's over. Like to Davis. It looked like I was like I didn't get that from the game. But anyway.
I think it was more the fact of just sorry. I think I just meant to say I think it's more the fact that he was just so wide open. That was what everybody got excited about, not the fact that like if he did run the right direction, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
So like, I think that was the point of it.
That's fair. But lost my train of thought. But yeah. Anyway, we got the win, and I still don't know how we got that win, but we did, and yeah. You have anything else to say about this game?
Yeah,
I mean, more to say too.
Not too much. I mean, it's pretty much that simple. That we maybe shouldn't have won the game, but the fact is that we keep winning games, and the Eagles are 10-1, and they're proving to be one of the more resilient teams we've seen in the way that they just keep finding ways to do it, no matter what the situation is.
What I was going to mention was the AJ Brown catch fumble type call that people thought if he catches and fumbles I was like, we didn't catch it.
It was weird. It was closer than I was giving it credit for at first, because obviously in the heat of the moment I was like, absolutely not, no chance. The issue for me was how far he got it, and it never felt like he had full possession, which is why I still think it was an incomplete pass. I absolutely believe it was an incomplete pass, but he was bringing it into his hip, and it was kind of at his hip at the moment that he lost the possession. So that's where I think it gets fishy, and it was a lot closer than I initially gave it credit for. But like I said, I really didn't think he ever really had full possession in the first place. So,
I mean, in real time, it was like bang bang, and I if you slow anything down to a microscope, you could see.
In real time, I thought absolutely no chance. I was shocked that it was even getting reviewed in real time.
I didn't think it was at all. I was like, no, there's no way he had possession of that ball. You literally turn, hit, gone. And I was like, but then when he pulled
the argument that I've been hearing that's been brought up quite a few times is that if that ref were to initially rule that a fumble instead of an incomplete pass on the field, then the review changes, and can they overturn that call if it's ruled a fumble?
That's fair.
So that's where I think people got a little upset about that, and I understand that was about as 50-50 of a call as you could pretty much go. I mean, it really could have gone either way, and it really just came down to that it would have been a play that I don't think anybody had a good answer on, and the initial call on the field was that it was an incomplete pass. That's what it looked like in real time. It's what it felt like, and that's the way to say it.
I mean, and also the penalties going into the game. I mean, I didn't realize that they had 11 penalties for 80 yards. To be honest, and we only had 4 for 30, and most of them were false starts.
Nor did I.
I didn't realize that. I'm looking at it now, but I didn't. Like, I know some calls they gave to us. I can't recall off the top of my head, but it didn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being way too biased, and I don't.
You're seeing too many fans complaining that the Eagles are getting favored by the refs nowadays.
I mean, that's what happens when you win. Everyone has to make an excuse why you suck.
Dude, as Eagles fans, we've been sitting over here all year complaining about the refs too. I mean, everybody deals with the refs. I mean, it's a lot easier to complain about the call when you're losing the game. I mean, everybody does that. If you were winning the game, you wouldn't have a second thought about that call. Guaranteed. So, of course, everybody's going to come and complain that the Eagles are getting favored. The same way that everybody does the same thing to the Chiefs, the same way that everybody does the same thing to the Patriots when they were winning. The same thing that, winning teams get that kind of favor because, and to an extent, I can agree. I've seen a few missed calls this year. I'm not going to lie and say that we aren't getting some missed calls, but that's just part of the game. Every team's getting missed calls every play. I mean,
like Sway tweeted about it yesterday about the PI on Diggs that they didn't call, and he was like, "Yeah, like I was hand fighting for the ball. If they called it, like I did grab him, like they didn't call it, so get over it."
This is the same shit that happened in the Super Bowl when James Bradbury got called for that holding. We've talked about this on the podcast before. 80% of that game, that play wasn't a holding call until that play. And sometimes that's just the way the refs do it. It's just what catches their eye. It's not an easy job. Go out there and do it yourself. I mean, I've been a ref before. It freaking sucks. There is no right answer. There is you're going to piss somebody off regardless. So, it's as simple as that. And I'm not going to deny that the Eagles have gotten a little lucky on some calls this year. But to go out there and say that the NFL's rigged and that they're getting favored by the refs is bullshit, and everybody knows it. Everybody just wants to make excuses for why their team isn't as good as the Eagles. I'm pretty sick of hearing that bull crap. Like, you're talking about the game being rigged and Jake Elliott kicking a 59-yard field goal in the wind and rain. Like, yeah, they planned that to happen. Of course, it makes a whole lot of sense.
We really thought that one was going in.
As an athlete, I 1,000,000% guarantee you that there is no player on that field actively trying to lose a game. It's just a fact. Nobody is out there trying to lose. Whether the refs, if you want to say the refs have a play in the game, sure. Like, I don't care. Don't go saying that the players are trying to blow the game and there's a script to it. Like, come on.
Yeah, because it's football. Anytime you take a play off or you're going to get hurt. Like, if you're not going 100% at someone, you're going to get hurt. Like, that's what happens. Like,
nobody's out there to lose a game, and nobody's out there doing it for a paycheck. I mean, well, yes, they're doing it for a paycheck, but they're not going out there. They're not going to go lose a game for a paycheck. I promise.
Yeah. Well, this week is probably my favorite week that I've been looking forward to, not because of this game in general. I felt like the Chiefs game should have been bigger for me. It's because of all the bull crap that Niners fans have said since the week before the Super Bowl, because they had to wait a week and then Debo had to complain. They've been complaining that they were going to beat us since NFC Chip. If they had Purdy, they would have won. Now we get this rematch. They like to talk all this crap. Debo's talking how trash Bradbury is. Bradbury responds, "Oh, I don't like being called trash, but like whatever." Class.
That's what we're known for in Philadelphia,
Anyway, I hate the Niners. I hate all their fan base. I really don't like how Brock Purdy is not your savior. Okay? I really hope he demolishes his team. CMC is the only person that could do anything on his him and Debo. All right. When they lost games, Debo is out. Obviously, Trent Williams is out. I will give you guys like that benefit of the doubt. Okay. But when you put the ball in Brock Purdy's hands, he didn't do crap against a mediocre to bottom tier Minnesota secondary. He didn't do anything against Cincinnati. I hate Brock Purdy and I hate the Niners and I hate all their fans. I really want to win this game, but I don't know if we will. Thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, for anybody that doesn't know, as Maslij has made it clear now, 49ers fans are his favorite. He loves talking to 49ers fans. They have some pretty
Dallas
great
and Niners.
chats. But we do still have differing opinions on Brock Purdy, of course. This is well documented. I do think Brock Purdy is good. He does confuse me a little bit because that 3-game skid that they had, he looked like he was meant to be drafted the very last in the draft. He looked pretty, like, not even just like bad, like he looked pretty terrible for 3 straight games. It was very strange. And then he came back and was back to being normal again. So he still throws me off a little bit. But for the most part, I mean, he's having a great statistical year. I mean, me and you have talked about the fact that his passing stats actually do surpass Jalen Hurts' in terms of yards, completion percentage, and touchdowns to interception ratio. But obviously, he doesn't have the rushing stats that Jalen Hurts does, the touchdowns accounted for, and stuff like that. But, this team is definitely really, really dangerous. It's going to be the most dangerous team we've played this year, probably the most dangerous team in the NFL. Hence why we are, hate to say it, 3-point underdogs, which I heavily disagree with, couldn't disagree with more. And I understand everybody's going to have their opinion on it and can say, yes, I can understand why they put the 49ers as 3-point favorites, but it's bullcrap. The Eagles at home, 10-1, should not be 3-point underdogs. To make them underdogs at all is ridiculous, let alone not to just make it like a 50-50 game. It's just baffling to me that they're being that disrespectful. But we'll see. I mean, last time we saw the 49ers, we absolutely handled them. So they're going to have their chance to prove us wrong or right. And hopefully we go out there and prove again that Brock Purdy is going to be flustered against a defense like this, and that their defense isn't all that much when they can't get to the quarterback.
I mean, there a couple things going the Niners' way. So they played on Thanksgiving, so they have 10 days of rest, right? That's one. 2, Lane Johnson's out. Dallas Goedert's out. Fletcher Cox is questionable.
Lane Johnson's not out.
Is he not out? Is he playing?
He's most likely playing, yeah.
Really?
Yes. They held him out of last week's game out of precaution for the rain.
Okay.
Like he had tests and MRIs. Everything came back clean. He could have played last game. But he was, like a game time decision. And then when it was raining out, they decided it was best to just let him take a week off and get back to it. He has expressed that he's planning on playing this week. So expect him to play.
Okay. Well, I didn't
change things a little bit, doesn't it?
That does, but I guess I'm just reading the wrong Twitter post. That there's
it's not nothing's official yet. He's still questionable. He's still limited in practice. You're not going to see anything until it's closer to the game. But I have, at the very least, outside of that knowledge that I've heard on the radio with WIP, I've also Bleacher Report dropped a notification saying that he himself said that he wanted to play this week. So, it's still up in the air, but it's likely, I think, that he's going to play.
All right. Well, I like that.
Unless there's been some new development that I haven't heard of in the past, few hours.
No, you're right. I didn't know Smitty didn't practice on Friday. That's last Friday. What am I talking about? I'm reading the wrong injury report. I'm just gonna.
You're reading last week's injury report.
I'm trying to get off. I saw whatever. Anyway, I guess Lane Johnson is playing. I didn't know that. That's fun. That's news to me. All right. Well, that changes everything.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, no. This team is. I understand they're playing their best ball right now, but they're beating up on teams like Seattle, Tampa Bay. I mean, they killed Jacksonville. That's a decent win. But they were coming off a bad situation for Jacksonville. But
you were just saying that they get a long week coming off Thursday and get extra time for us. I think extra time is terrible. I think it's a bad thing. Why? How? I've always felt that way as a player and as a fan watching teams. The Eagles always come out of bye weeks terrible. I just think that it almost gets you into too relaxed of a mentality for a little bit. And I think that it almost, like, once you get back onto the field, it's like a wake up call. And
I would love to have a. I mean, after that in the rain, you're playing 40. Like our defense is not bad. You're not saying you were hurt. You're hurting. You wouldn't want an extra couple days. Like
Yeah. If like I'm not saying like I would absolutely hate it in the situation we're in directly right now, but the 49ers are not in the same situation. They didn't play in the rain. They didn't get really banged up, and they just took a long week off to prepare for us. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a horrible thing. I'm just saying that, like, I'm not saying it has to be an advantage either.
I think it's an advantage. I mean, I thought people like to get healthier and be well rested and have more game time, game film to watch. But I guess there is upside of playing.
It's not like I don't get what you're saying, and I know most people think it's a benefit, but I feel like most teams come out of the bye week playing terrible. If you ask me, that's what I usually see out of teams. So, I mean, that's just, and as a player, I just felt like not playing for 2 weeks straight kind of like got me too relaxed.
Fair enough. I completely disagree with you.
Fair. I mean, I don't care,
Yeah. But anyway, what was I going to talk about? Well, Matt, does it make you feel like more scared that Sam Darnold and Brandon Allen are trying to mimic Jalen Hurts to play quarterback in their practice squad? Thoughts?
No, it terrifies me.
I started cracking up when I saw that quote by Kyle Shanahan. No one's able to mimic Jalen Hurts, especially not Sam Darnold. So that's great. That's great for us. That's great news. I'm scared of this defense. If I'm being completely honest, I'm scared of this D line. I'm not scared of their secondary, but I am scared of this D line. What way do you want to attack them / play against them on both sides of the ball?
Well, like we talked about in the Bills portion of this episode, run the damn ball. If you want to stop a good pass rush, run the ball. Run the ball some more. And then, after that, you use the run to set up play actions and deep balls downfield. And, use quick passes, slants over the middle to AJ, quick runs, and just take chunks. And then once you start taking chunks, then you can throw an occasional, just like shot down the field that they're not going to be expecting when they have maybe a single safety over top or something along the lines,
And their young safety's out for this game too. I cannot pronounce his name. I'm not going to try. But
I think it's like Huafanga.
Yeah. I didn't want to mispronounce the name again and get made fun of.
I had to be. I'm not reading the name, so I don't know if that's right or not.
That's what I'm talking about. But I'm more scared of one, their D line, which is obvious. Two, I might be more scared of the linebacking core. Greenlaw and Fred Warner are maybe. I think Fred Warner is the best linebacker in NFL.
They're the best linebacking core in the league. Yeah. I think them and the Ravens are pretty hand in hand, but I'd probably give the edge to them just off of experience.
And it's scary. That's just gonna like impact Hurts. Like we're not gonna be able to run draws on them. Like this is where.
Thank God. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh! Like I'm so sick of the draw.
I don't know what Brian Johnson is though. Is my problem. I don't know if he is. And I just don't want to. I just don't need to see like him trying to do delayed QB script, like just putting Hurts in situations where it's just not like I want to run the ball with our running backs. I don't need to see. I want to see Swift get the ball up the middle at Hargrave's face and just kill him because
I want to run the ball between the tackles as much as possible and just like play hard-nosed football against them because that's the way to beat this team. I personally feel like they have athletic, talented guys. They've got a D-line that can get to the quarterback. They've got, I don't think their secondary is anything great, but they've got linebackers that are going to be all over the field, and they've got guys that are athletes that can get to the ball. And like I said, we've got a great O-line. We've got a great running back. Use them and just use the run game to set up your offense. I think that's going to be the best way to beat this team, and I hope that Brian Johnson, woke up a little bit in the Bills game and realized that's what it takes to, keep the team on their toes.
Yeah.
Not to mention get Jalen Hurts into a freaking rhythm.
That would be fantastic. And I want to put number one key, I want to put the ball in Brock Purdy's hands. I want him to throw 27 passes.
It's going to come down to stopping, on the defense side of the ball, it's going to come down to, keeping the run game in check and stopping Christian McCaffrey. Because if you stop Christian McCaffrey, it's going to be a lot easier to stop Brock Purdy.
And deep, they have all these gadget plays. Kyle Shannon's a great mind as a coach in general.
I agree.
And I get nervous that when our secondary gets stagnant and we're just playing the zone against a guy like Brock Purdy, because we have shown that we haven't been great in the passing game, really, like throughout the entire year. If you just look straight stat wise, we really need to get past Trent Williams. I need to sweat to step up a lot on the right side of the ball.
We absolutely need to put better pressure on the quarterback. That's something we didn't mention in the Bills game. Josh Allen had such a pretty pocket all game, and the Eagles really need to, get their shit together and make sure that doesn't happen anymore, because that's what tears defenses apart. Letting the quarterback sit there and look around and check all of his receivers. Can't let that happen.
Yeah, I think that's the main difference between this year and last year. I mean, obviously, we're not going to set a franchise record every year in sacks, right? But it's when you see that happening on defense more and more, it's just so much. I mean, I'm not asking for 6 sacks a game. I just need to see more
pressure. I need to see pressure at the very least.
I need to see him struggling to get the ball out, and I feel like Hassan is the only one that consistently has done it after week 3. The first 2 weeks he was non-existent because of his hand, but that's the only guy I've seen in the backfield, and Brandon Graham, surprisingly not, he's still doing it even at his old age. And congrats, by the way, for setting the playing record for the Eagles last game. That was pretty cool to see too.
Yeah, it was cool. Sweat's been a little slow the past few weeks. He started out the season pretty hot through the first 5 or 6 weeks, and he's kind of slowed down. And it would definitely be nice if he can, kick it back into gear, maybe listen to the shit talk of the 49ers a little bit, kick him into a second gear, and get out there and just get in Purdy's face, just make him uncomfortable. He's going to be uncomfortable considering, last time he played us, he tore a ligament in his arm. I think he will be a little antsy to an extent as long as we get to him. If you let him feel comfortable back there, he'll get comfortable, but, keep him on his toes, and I think he's liable to make mistakes.
I 100% agree. 1,000% agree.
Go ahead. I think you're going to ask the same question I am.
Probably. So what do you think the outcome of this game is / the final score prediction?
And that would be the question I was going to ask. And it's definitely going to be a close one. I'm battling internally on whether this is going to be a high-scoring game or a mid-scoring game. Definitely don't see it being super low-scoring, but I'm thinking 24-21 right now in my heart. And I'm thinking Eagles still.
Every amount of rationale in me just thinks that this team just doesn't have a flat spot. I keep being like, oh, this will be their flat spot. Oh, the Bills will be their flat spot. Yeah, they came out flat in the Bills. Yeah, they didn't play their best game with the Chiefs. They keep winning. And seeing that game just against the Bills makes me think I don't think they don't want to lose.
They don't.
Anyone wants to lose. I don't mean it like that literally.
It feels like there's a different switch in them this year that just makes it not happen.
Hurts is on a mission, and he does not give a F what you think or what anyone else thinks. He is so poised, and all the memes about him having no reactions is hilarious.
It
when
is
he
very
tried to get
funny.
hype and he just walks over to the sideline is fantastic. I mean, I'm gonna go with 28-20. 24.
Say it.
Birds.
Yes, sir. There it is.
We have to win. I think it's going to come down again to a last-minute drive. I think it's going to – honestly, I 32-24. I think that we actually yes. All right, we're winning this game.
Man, 32-24 Birds. I'm
32-24 Birds. I think we dominate. We just need to win a turnover battle. Number one key of this game, can we win one turnover
battle? That's for sure.
Oh, my gosh. This team
this season would be looking a lot prettier without all the turnovers.
It 100% would, and it's annoying. And God, I'm scared. I think AJ Brown is going to go off this week. Honestly, I think we're
he's got to start looking his way more because Jalen Hurts, not targeting him until the very end of the first half for the first time for a 4-yard gain was ridiculous. I mean, and I don't know if that's Hurts' fault or AJ's fault or the play caller's fault, but something has to be done to actively try to get AJ Brown involved in the game.
And I'm also not calling, like, I'm not trying to be like a diva, like, don't pass to Smitty. Like, I want Smitty to have, I'll take Smitty to have 120 yards and AJ to have 50. But you have to, like, AJ got a touchdown last game. But I want to he had to feed him the ball, especially against the only weakness in his Niners defense, pretty much, is their secondary. And that's what it is. And you can't set it up anymore. Then try to run the ball. Try. I don't care if it's amazing or perfect.
The run game does not have to be working for it to do its job. That's what Brian Johnson doesn't understand. It can do more things than just
20 yards in this game. I hope he does. I don't expect him to. I don't expect him to have 100 yards. I expect him to have like 60, maybe. And
if he has less than 16 carries, I'm going to come back onto this podcast pretty pissed off.
If Hurts has more than 16 carries, I'm going to come back on this podcast pissed off.
Well, yeah, no crap. I don't want my quarterback having 16 plus carries.
It's ridiculous, man. It's sad. It's annoying, and I don't like it.
Me either, buddy.
Carries last game, 12 the game before, and he just keeps
It is too much. Give the ball to the running back. It hurts. Not to mention, it's been pretty clear that Hurts is not trying to run super hard this year. He's not the same speedy guy. Yes, he can move out of the pocket. Yes, he has quickness to him, but he's not fast. He's not super explosive. He just gets the yards he needs to. He's really no faster than like a Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes might be faster.
I mean, he looked pretty explosive the last play of the OT game. That looked good.
Yeah, I guess, if he gets a straight downhill shot, I mean, I'm not saying he's not explosive. All right. Don't take the words so damn literally. I'm just saying he's not. I don't think he doesn't have the same explosiveness that he did last year. I'll put it that way.
I do agree, but God, I just want to shut Niners fans up so much and the what ifs, and I can't deal with it until playoffs. I can't, man. I know that some people are. So this is a scenario that I keep hearing from WIP callers. All right. Like, I kind of want to lose this game because, then it'll wake the Eagles up and then they'll go into Dallas and then in the playoffs we'll play better against them. Like, and then it'll give us more of a mentality because they already think they won. Like,
I promise you no team's ever walking into a game thinking, I think it might be good for us to lose.
Yeah. No one thinks that. I don't understand people that are well, it would be nice to, lose one.
No, it would be nice to win every game of the freaking season. Is what it would be nice to do.
He's like, I don't want to make that kick. I don't want to win this game against the Bills. They got to show something. They know they're not playing well. Jason Kelce and Hurts have said it. Sirianni has said it.
They were shaking their heads when the field goal went through because they knew. They were like, damn, we didn't deserve it, but here we are.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Hey, man, we're just going to have to see. They're going to either, prove the haters right or, shut them the hell up. And I really hope that they shut them the hell up because I'm sick of hearing it. I really want to prove to the 49ers fans that losing Brock Purdy for that game was not the big difference maker that everybody thought it was.
I honestly want a defense. I know I have a high scoring prediction. I really just want to shut them down. I don't even care if they score 17-14. I don't care. I don't want them to score at all. McCaffrey will get his. He just can't eat all game. I just don't want them to score. And I want Brock Purdy to look like crap. I want him to look so bad I come on this podcast and start laughing. And that would make my life.
I like Brock Purdy, but if there's any game I want him to absolutely shit the bed, it would be this one, that's for sure.
It would be amazing. And we're showing out for this game. The fans are going to be all over, all the Niners fans. It's going to be fantastic. Still debating if I'm going to go or not.
Yeah, you might catch me and Steve down there if you want to talk to the Flyin and Style podcast hosts.
You just might. Game time decision. But yeah. So.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a good one. It's probably the tightest game of the season. We said the same thing about the Cowboys, Chiefs, and Bills up to this point.
It's a rough stretch.
The gauntlet just keeps going, and it's going to be a tough one. This may be the best team in the NFL, and we're going to find out. which team really is the best in the NFL. And fuck that, because even if they win, we're still the best team in the NFL. But
not according to ESPN analytics, we're number 6.
But either way, my point is that this is going to be a big one. It's going to, shake up the NFL as, the playoff picture gets molded together. And it's going to prove to a lot of people what this team's made of.
I'm excited.
Me too. So thank you guys for tuning in this episode. We always appreciate it. If you're watching, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate you guys tuning in. Come back again next week. We'll be checking in, reviewing the game, and then we'll be talking about the Cowboys after that, right? Cowboys again?
Sir.
Yeah, a lot of big weeks. So, yeah, man, make sure you tune back in next week. Can't wait to hear from you. And let's go Birds this week. Let's get a big dub.
Go Birds!